right. Whoa, you are looking fantastic, my man. How's it going?
Thank you. You sound fantastic, Vadim.
That's right. That's right. I got the shadows on my face, but I got the nice microphone, so we'll call it even. So we just finished working on your upcoming single, "Serious Delirious." How do you feel?
I feel amazing. I like this is the song that I'm most excited to release, like literally
Oh,
ever.
cool.
I My first song that I released was in 2018. That was High Definition. I was really excited about that. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, here you go, threw it out, into the universe. But this time, like, I am so pumped. I sang it at an open mic on Sunday at Pete's Candy Store, and I used like the instrumental that you sent me, and the host was like, "That track is
Oh,
slamming!"
really?
Like, it was just so fun, and like, I always listen at home at like a good moderate loud volume, but like at that open mic, it was like blasting, and it was just like amazing. It was
Oh,
so
that's
fun,
cool.
and like. It was the end of the open mic. Everyone was like sleepy and like people got up and danced. I was just like, this is where it's at. It's like
That's
amazing.
awesome. That's got to be a great feeling. Is that the first time you've played it live?
Um, no, I've performed it live many times at the Golden Hour last year. The first one I played it on piano and sang, so that was like a different
Right.
feel to it. I didn't even have the track together at that time. And then in August last year, I did it with my version of the track where it was before I sent it to you. And I had my friend Ashley Everhart who plays saxophone on it. She played with me live on that, so that was really
That's
fun.
cool.
And people already like loved the song. But that time I was just like, yes, this is like where it needs to be, and the energy was just there, and it was just
That's
great.
awesome because it
So
is. It's like a
yeah,
high energy kind of a tune that makes you want to dance. So it's cool that that held up when you played it in kind of a live environment and people were dancing. I mean, that's I always joke like that's the ultimate thing. If you play your song for somebody and they like even if they just tap their foot, you know they're into it. Like that's
mm-hmm,
the ultimate litmus test for like is a song good. And yeah, you mentioned the
mm-hmm,
saxophone, you mentioned all these elements. So that was one thing I was kind of impressed with was the amount of production and the quality of production that you have invested here and created here. So, it's a pop song, so it's got the elements you would expect. It's got the bass, it's got the drums, it's got some keys, which is I think that's your main instrument, right? Is keys.
that's my main
Yeah,
instrument.
so
Yeah,
it's got, but then it's got so much other stuff. There's like the little bongos, little hidden gems. You got the saxophone solo. You've got a vocoder in there somewhere. So tell me a little bit about how
yep.
that production came together layer by layer. Like, what was your process working on this?
Oh my God. Okay, so this song, I'm so glad you're saying all that because like this song, I really focused on like upping my production like
Mm,
quality and really embracing like sounds that I
mm,
love like from the start. Um, and I was inspired by Alicia Keys' masterclass where she talks about like just starting from like, do you love this sound first? Like not even like whatever notes you're playing on it. Like, do you love this
mm,
sound first? So the first sound that I found for this was the main keyboard sound. It's from Addictive Keys. It's called the Fusion Pad Rhodes Mark One, and like just the minute I started playing with it, I was like, I love this sound so much because it has like such a retro 80s feel
mm,
to it. But then it has like such a definition like when you first hit the note, but then it has like this really cool like wow thing to it
mm.
that's just like really amazing. So I started with that keyboard part and was just like wow 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 wow, right? And then uh the same company that made Addictive Keys, they also have some drum software called Addictive
Mm-hmm.
Drums. And they're really like good for this retro funky sound that I'm going for. So I found this one drum pack that kind of went with that keyboard, so I put that in there. Um, and it was like I pretty much had the main beat already. It was like the right, and then I I found the bass line, which is, well, the bass part, which is like it's like a weird kind of, I call it a
Yeah, I
derpy
like
bass
that.
because it's kind of like
That's what you
that 80s,
called
like
the
derpy.
file, and I really like that. I thought that was an apt title for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like this really derpy, like synth bass keyboard sound. Um, and so I played with that, and like I could hear it, like for the longest time I could hear in my head like what I wanted the bass line to be, but I was trying to do it like on bass guitar and it just wasn't feeling
Mm.
right. And I was like, it's too like standard, like it's too plain. And then also like I just ended up gravitating back to the keyboard because I feel more like comfortable there. Whereas bass guitar, I'm always like, oh, hope I'm doing this right, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just gravitated back to the keyboard, and I was like, oh, I found this synth bass sound like a while back, and I tried it, and I was just like, that's it, like that's the gravy. Um, and then the vocoder I actually added on late, like a lot later. Like after I recorded my lead vocal, I was like, I still feel like it's missing something. So that was like, I think it's just like the standard vocoder sound in Ableton
Hmm.
Live that I loved. But oh, it was especially the intro. Like it starts with the vocoder. At first, I didn't have it on there, and I was like, it sounds kind of boring at the very beginning, like if it's just the keyboard. Like I want to hear like words. I want to hear like some kind of voice, but I don't want it to be my
Hmm.
voice. So then I was like, ooh,
Robot
vocoder
voice.
time.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. And it like instantly lets you know that it's like supposed to be fun and like dancey. But then again, it's very like retro 80s, like vocoder was big back then. Um, and then the saxophone. Oh God, like I started working on this song like during COVID, like peak COVID times, and I knew that I wanted like saxophone or like a real brass
Hmm.
instrument on it, and I don't play that. So I was like, how am I going to do this? I was like, I guess this has to wait until I can like go into a studio with someone who plays brass. Um, and like I was really envisioning this song as like I would make this song when like I was able to like go out again and have fun with
Mm.
friends and like be around people in like physical space. And so last year's 2022, that was kind of like that time for me where I finally was able to start going out again and like just being around like a
Right.
community. Um, so that's kind of where the crowd vocals came in. And the three amazing singers who did those. It was Alden Groves, Kyra Bromberg, and Annie Stone, and they're all three people that I met through the Golden Hour, which is my variety show. So I decided it'd be fun to have them chant Golden Hour, woo!" Before the dance break because I wanted to like bring people into that world of like this positive energy that we're creating in that community. Um, oh yeah, and then the sax was played by um, my bestie Ashley Everhart. She's an amazing comedian. She also hosts the Golden Hour with me,
Wow.
and she's an amazing saxophonist. So I wrote the solo, and it's actually like in a duet with like my little piano part. Um, and then I sent her the music, and we met at Pirate Recording Studios. It was just me and her, and I brought her the sheet music, but I didn't bring a music stand, and I thought like there would be one in there, or she would have something, but like her little fold up thing wasn't working or whatever. So I had to literally stand behind the condenser mic and like hold the papers up for her as she was recording it, and like half the recordings are just me trying to click record and then run over to behind the microphone and then like hold it up in time for her to start playing. And she's like, wait, you gotta hold it up or like flip the page. Like, what is happening?
That's so
And
funny.
I could not like wrap my mind around how to hold the pages and like, you know, keep up with the music or whatever. But we got some good takes eventually, and that was really
That's
fun.
awesome. Yeah, I love that story. You do capture this kind of, and that's kind of like one of the cool things about writing a song is that you get to capture like a state of mind or like a feeling and then communicate it, and then it doesn't have to be like the entirety of who you are. It's like it's this feeling, and like we all know that feeling of like just wanting to like be a little carefree, like positivity, go out with your friends. That vibe is you really do a good job of capturing that, and that's one of the reasons why I love the gang vocals in there, because it's also for you guys like it'll be this nice memento, like you and the people involved in that will always have the song to remind you of like this that period of your life and when you made it together, and that's a kind of just a really nice aspect of songwriting. I've always thought that.
Yes, 100%. Like, songs are time capsules. Like, I am immediately like transported back to whenever I made this song or that
Right.
song. And most of my songs have been mostly made by me. So when I, listen back, I'm taken back to times where I've been like on my own working on the song. But with this one, like I hear, at the end when for the crowd vocals at the very end when like everyone's saying things are about to get serious. We're about to get delirious tonight in the club. Like they were all trying to sing it so perfectly and it sounded so fake. And I was like, no, pretend like you cannot sing at all. Like pretend you are so drunk, like you do not know how to sing, do not sing notes at all. Like just go all up and down and like, have a ball with it.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because we're like all singers.
Oh,
So
that's funny.
then we all just had so much fun and we were like, thanks, I'm about to get
Yeah,
serious.
it totally
Like
captures
it,
that vibe. And there's also like there's other elements of the gang vocals in the elsewhere in the song where there's like snips of conversation, and in the full mix it's maybe a little harder to hear, but for me working on the mix where I had the
yeah.
individual tracks, I was like, this is cool. This sounds like real conversation that like I would have with my friends. And
Uh-huh.
again, you're just capturing this
Yeah.
energy of like people in a room having a good time, getting ready to like maybe go to another location and like continue having a good time. It was really great.
Yeah, that was so fun. Like there was so much funny stuff in those takes because we were just having a conversation. It was not like planned at all. Like I would just click record. It would be the four of us in there in a circle and we'd just like start talking about something as the track played. And I think one of the ones one of the ones that's in there is Annie Stone. I guess she was telling her dad about how she was going to record the song with me that day, and she said my name, which is Woe, and for whatever reason, her dad heard Loki, so he was
Wow.
like, "Oh, have fun with Loki," and then so on the recording, um, you can hear me on the side going like Loki. There's no K in Woe. We're like all laughing about that. I think there's another one that's like I don't know if I kept it, but it was something about Pitbull. Like I think Alden was like, "Yo, like if Pitbull wanted to, feature on this track, would you let him?" And I was like, "Uh, will I get it on the radio or whatever?"
That's funny.
It was
Yeah,
hilarious.
very cool. Yeah, so you and I worked